Are you ready? Okay. So we're covering today the third of the 4 agreements, so we only have one left after this. And today's agreement is, does anybody know the third agreement? Okay, the third agreement is, do not make assumptions. So of course this is pretty basic. You know, most of us know that little saying, you know, never assume because you make an ass out of you and me. But the reality is there's a lot more to that, making assumptions about people, making assumptions about situations, making assumptions about ourselves, and a lot of this has to do with respect. Really showing a certain amount of regard and respect for people. Because what happens is when we start to assume something of, in particular, a person or a response, we're not really giving that person the opportunity to share their thoughts, share their feelings, clarify a situation or a motivation. We have already taken that power away from them and decided within ourselves to assign a particular idea or a particular thought to whatever is going on in that situation. And so, not only does that complicate a situation, but it takes away the respect and the power of the individual. And we don't really think about that. So if you care about somebody, you certainly want to give them the opportunity to express themselves. Clarify their thoughts. Be clear about why they behave a particular way or why they feel a particular way. And as awakened people, we want to give them the freedom, right, to feel whatever way or think whatever way they like. And assuming takes that away. We take that all away from them. So we wouldn't want that done to us. We want to be able to express ourselves. We want to be able to share our thoughts and our feelings and our ideas about things and not have people say, well, I already know what she thinks. No, you didn't ask me what I think. You just assumed that you knew what I thought. And what did I say last time? Last week I said we are very complicated, right? We're complex individuals. So even though you think you might know how somebody is going to respond, certainly you should give them the opportunity to do so themselves and not do it for them. This infringes upon my freedom as an individual, your assumption. So see, it's not just it makes an ass out of you and me. It's a very serious thing to take away somebody's freedom, to restrict their ability to express themselves and be their most authentic and true self. That's what you're doing when you assume something about an individual. So what about when you assume about a situation? Now, most of us base our best guess, our assumptions, on past behaviors and past situations. Are these the best indicators of future events? Sometimes. But if we are awakened people, where do we live? In the present, in the now, right? We live in the now. Do we live in the past? No. So say a situation has occurred and it ended up in the past not working out well. It was difficult. It didn't work out for the best in your mind. And you're going to assume and project that on something that's occurring in the future. How's that going to work out?
Probably the same way.
The same way, absolutely. Because you have already assessed it. You have already put into place and used your word through your mind to assess a situation, judge a situation, and then present it into an actual factual reality. You did that by assuming. That couldn't be any different. Couldn't turn out any different. What does that say about your hope? What does that say about your faith? What does it say about you really buying in and believing that you can change the reality that you live in? If you believe that everything's going to happen the way that it happened before,
well, it's going to happen again.
Then it's going to happen again.
Absolutely, because you just manifested it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's part of the process of assumption. I'm assuming nothing will change. Nothing will change. I'm assuming people are thinking a particular way. Even if they're not thinking that way, how is your response going to be? Your response is going to be in vibration with your assumption. See, you've already made up your mind. That's what you've done. You've already made up your mind. This is the way that it is. What does that say on a broader spectrum? So we talked about an individual, when we're talking about individuals, how we interact with individuals. We talked about situational circumstances, how we would respond in an assuming way in a situation. Now, on a global scale, in our reality, in the broader sense of our being, do we make assumptions? Sure we do.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, it is. So everything is this way. That's an assumption. Everything is not this way. There's more that we don't know than what we do know. So, do we hinder our ability to learn and to grow and evolve as a spiritual being if we're assuming? Yeah, we do. So we need to be open to experience. We need to be open to possibilities. We need to be open to information. Process it. If we've already assumed, we can't process. We've put up a block. We've filtered it already. So we only get little bits and pieces. It's an important way to assess how you think and how you feel about situations, people, and your existence as a spiritual being. Am I assuming these things? Are they real? Are they actual? Are they factual?
How do you get the answers?
How do you get the answers?
I can tell you, but how do you get the answers? That's the best part.
Don't assume.
And how do you not assume?
You are open and receptive and allowing.
And you ask.
And you
the
ask the
people
questions.
How
How do you feel?
Where
What do
did
you
it come
think?
from?
Yep.
Why did you do that? How come that was the way it was? Why do you feel that way? Why does this make you feel that
That's
way?
right. That's exactly correct. Communication. And that communication and allowing,
Right.
accepting, that builds a different kind of reality, a different kind of vibration, a different kind of energy, and a different kind of relationship with people.
And it puts the situation back in your hands to
It does.
handle it in your world with the person that you're having a problem with, because assuming something is a problem.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And that works in a larger sense. So you want answers about existence, you want answers about where you are, who you are, what is my purpose? Are you asking? Are you asking through prayer? Are you praying? Are you meditating? Are you listening for the answers?
Right. That's the
That's the thing. So yeah, it's all about communication. Once you're communicating, you're no longer assuming.
right.
You're no longer assuming. So are you assuming things about yourself based on things that people have said to you? Based on information that you have received about yourself? Oh, I can only do this because that's who I am. I assume that about myself. I've assumed that. I've taken that identity upon myself. This is who I am. You're not an egg. You're not an egg. You have wings. You can fly. So you need not to be in a shell. Assuming puts you in a shell. It closes you off to the endless possibilities of your experience, of your now. So don't assume things about yourself. How many of us have assumed things about ourselves personally and then found out later on that they weren't true? That's a perfect example.
Yep.
It's a very small thing. We said, oh, you could never do that. I know you. You'd never do that. And then guess what you did? Exactly that. And then you stand there and look at yourself and go, holy smokes! I did that. I did that. Can you believe it? So everything that has been said about you has been said about you from the perspective of somebody else. Assuming something about you. And every day you're growing. Every day you're evolving. You're not who you were last week. You are not who you were 2 days ago. So how can we apply that to assuming about everything? The people that we interact with are not the same people that they were 2 days ago. Situations and circumstances are not what they were 2 days ago. So we need to really be aware and allowing and open to the information that's out there and ask the questions and listen for the answers. And above all, don't make assumptions.